Good morning, the media. We welcome you all to this media update about the remodeling and rehabilitation of the Independence Stadium. With me is the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Bakary Y Badjie, the Executive Director of National Sports Council, Mr. Mahmoud Jawla, and me, Ibu Fai, the General Manager. We will take you around for you to look at what I've started in the second phase of the rehabilitation. Where we are now is the expansion of the player tunnel and also the mix zone. And we'll take you around to see some of the works that I've started and everything that needs to be done to get the stadium back to its feet, to able to host international matches. So I'll give the Honorable Minister to make a short statement before allowing also the Executive Director, and then we can go around. Okay.
Once again, good morning. Like the General Manager put it, this exercise is very, very crucial and very important for every Gambian because this is the only stadium we have. So it is important that when it is undergoing renovation or remodeling, the general public knows what work is going on. You can, when we go around, you will see what is happening around the stadium. So you, the media, you are very, very important here. You help us to show the general public all what is going on around the stadium in terms of renovation. We will surely, like he said, go around with you, and then every corner wherever work has been done or is ongoing, you'll have access to it so that everybody in the Gambia will also see what is happening and know what the Ministry of Youth and Sports under the leadership of Bakary Y Badjie. And then I know in the future, very soon, we will have to also arrange them and go with them around the country to see other facilities that the ministry is engaging at the moment in terms of developing our sports infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We can go around now.
Okay.
Okay, what we are doing here, around here, is what we call the, as the Honorable Minister said, is what we call the soft landscape. It's something I learned from him, and it's to have Bahama grass throughout this area. That's why you will see all these places like this, and you will see it round. When we go on the other side, you will see the other side, and on this side, you'll have slabs on this side, so that it can be used as a parking space for vehicles coming to the stadium. So when we go around, you can see the slabs outside, and then you can see how they are working on the Bahama grass. Okay. I was saying, what you see these guys are working now is to have the pipes installed for the sprinklers, for the grass that we are going to grow here. Then the other one is the fence. You can see the fence is going to be lifted for security reasons. These are queries we received from CAF before that there's no enough security. So they're going to lift the fence up so that it can be secured, the stadium will be secured. You can have kids not coming over, or when there are matches, we'll not have people climbing over the fence. Where we are now is the toilets, the spectator toilets. As you are aware, we normally used to have challenges with the toilets because the system was the Chinese system, but it has been rehabilitated, and now we'll have the male and the female toilets. This is the female toilets, which is undergoing the rehabilitation. We will not have the same challenges that we used to have before. Okay, and we have the male toilet on the other side. In each pavilion, there will be male and female toilets. They have started painting the veranda of the place, and everything, and there will be lights installed, everything, so that the lighting system will be very clear. You know. Yes, and the gates will be removed. There will be no more gates like this, sealed, but an open gate where, for security reason, people can move freely in and out. And you can see them now trying to. Yes. You can see them now, what the work they are doing about the fence. Remember, this fence, we are here since 1984 when the Chinese built this structure, and it's a solid structure. And we want the same solid structure again. And that's what the work they are doing, trying to remove the pillars and trying to get other pillars that will make the place much stronger, much better. And Jigo Construction is on it. It's a promotion for you. Marketing. Huh? So that's the work they are doing now. Going to lift the fence so that it can be very, very solid and strong. This is relevant. This area is relevant to the media, because this is a new invention that we're going to create, the media tribune from here. You will have your own steps, toilets to go to your own area where you will sit and cover the match. So they will start working on that now, so that you will not no longer be part of the spectators or public going inside the stadium. You will have your own area to go up and watch your match, do your covering and your reports and everything. Another invention is the new media center that we are going to create. Huh? So that's how it's going to be now. This is going to be the media center. Yeah, it will be divided into two. You'll have the media, the press conference area, and the media center where you can sit down, do your reports, and send your information. And this is a requirement by CAF that it must happen. So we have to use this hall for that. That means we have elevated the media more than any other person in the stadium. So, so that's something because of your role in disseminating information. So that's why we have to create this place for the media. So you don't need now to go to the players' tunnel. You just come down, come to the center, and the captain and the coach will come to you for press conferences. So the media doesn't need now to go inside the field. That's one area that needs to be addressed. Nobody should be in the playing ground except the players and those who are supposed to be. Okay. So that's the new invention that have been created for this stadium. And these are one of the areas that CAF highlighted when they came here for advice. So Modo S can do his job without any disturbance by the players. Okay. All right. That's the scoreboard. We're going to install a new scoreboard. Huh? Huh? Media center. Bye. New scoreboard. Hmm? Two. This is going to be your media tribune. The area that is left is going to be for the media tribune. I think it's catered for about 50 journalists to cover match. About 50 journalists to cover matches. It will have cables, internet facility, everything. So when you come to matches, you will be able to cover the match without any problem of having internet or electricity or writing table or everything. Everything will be provided for in the media center. Then the other one is the fence round. The other most important and significant thing that we're going to have is a fence round the stadium. That's the main stadium, round from here, from there, round, and throughout the stadium, round. That will make people not have access to this area. If you don't have a ticket, you don't have access to this area. You can only have access on the compound. So that's a very significant thing. That will show there is more security for the stadium, so that offices can be protected, the dressing rooms can be protected. And the third phase is to have a turnstile whereby you'll have electronic tickets. You just buy a ticket. But that's in the third phase. But in the second phase is to have the fence that will separate the stadium from the main bowl, from the main ground, which is the general ground, for people to have access to. Okay, those were the few updates we have for you. If you have any other question, you can ask and we can answer.
Thank you very much. As we come to the end of the tour of the Independence Stadium, where the general manager of the Independence Stadium updated the media on the work that is taking place currently here, which is the second phase. We have heard from him. He has given us an update on what has happened in the first phase and now currently in the second phase. We now come to the last part of it, where the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports will give the general, update or an overview of, all what we have gone through this moment. So, Honorable Minister, we allow him to. And then after that, we will take few questions and from the media, and then we call it a day.
Right. Well, maybe after this, I'll take all of this thing home. But anyway, good morning. We just want to thank all of you for coming to this tour, like the general manager and the ED said. We called today because work has started about 2 weeks ago, and we just wanted to have the opportunity to bring the media so that we all go around and everybody can see what is happening for the interest of the public, because I know the Independence Stadium is one place that every Gambian was so much interested in. Even those who were never interested in sports have taken up the discussion of the stadium as a major issue and have talked about it in multiple times, and yes, and for the right reason, because we know it's the only stadium that we have. Playing outside the country wasn't a desirable condition, but that's what we find ourselves in. But as you can see, work is progressing, has just started, and like Mr. Fai said, our anticipation is that in 4 months' time, from the period of starting, the work will be completed, and we will be able to bring back our matches to play at home. So generally, as you all see, the second phase don't have much to do with what happened in the first phase. The first phase is completed initially, and now this is the areas that have been recommended. And again, I know this has been an issue when people say the last time, well, CAF said our stadium does not qualify. And I've always said this, that was a decision that was made a long time ago. Our stadium was not qualified, even last year. What happened last year was, based on the advice of the Federation, the ministry decided to invite a CAF official to come on the ground and look at the work that we tasked ourselves to do, where we have gone so far, and also advice, because they know exactly what their expectation is. So their advice is what we have incorporated and took it into what is called the first phase, so that we can be able to meet the requirement that CAF wants us. And again, I want to take this opportunity to reiterate that CAF's visit the last time was not a CAF-initiated activity. It was a ministry-initiated activity based on what we were doing. And our intention for them to come and look at what our plan is and advise us on whether it is good enough to meet CAF standard or not. And what they said was what we tasked ourselves to do in the first phase was not good enough, and we needed to act. But it came at the right time when work was still going on, and then they can be able to look at it. And that's what happened. So the second phase, like you all saw, is includes some demolitions, as you would see, with the media center and the media tribune and the press conference center, which is a big issue for CAF. So the area that is reserved on the Democracy Act, we call it, is going to occupy about 50 seats of the journalists. And those seats are coming along with their desk and blocks and other internet access that will be for the media. And the one right behind us is where the media will now have their press conference on one part, and on the other part, it will be for the media briefing, for the media to prepare their stories and be able to send them during halftime or at the end of the match or anytime. So you can do all your work here with everything being available. And then the other part, like Mr. Foy explained, is the landscaping. So we have two areas of landscaping. On this part is the soft part, which is going to have the Bahama grass and flowers to beautify the area. And on the other part, the outer part, there will be a complete slab, which is the hard land surfacing, which is going to go around the entire stadium. And those are the areas also we would have our parking lots. And the parking lots, according to the requirement, is supposed to be numbered and it's supposed to have zones. So if you're coming to, example, the East Zone, you know that my parking lot would be East Zone, maybe parking lot number 3 or number 5 or number 20. So every vehicle that's coming, if you buy a ticket to coming, then you know that you're supposed to park on that side because that's where your seat is going to be. Same thing with the numbering of the seats of the stadium. Each seat in that stadium is going to have a number, and people would be expected to know their ticket. When they buy their tickets, on their ticket, the number would be there. You don't have to worry about anything. You just come. You know you are in zone A, you are in seat number 10, you go and sit on those areas. So those are the security aspect. And the outer fencing, which is the outer perimeter, is going to fence the entire stadium. So right here is where the fence will be placed, and it's going to be metal. And the construction company is here, Jigo, that are going to do that. So they will run the metal fence across the entire main bowl. And then you will have only entrance gates in the major areas. Like if you come in the VIP area, you will have an entrance gate that leads you in. If you go to the scoreboard, like we call it, area, you will have an entrance gate that takes you in. The same thing with all the 4 zones. And those will be the only entrance gate that will lead to the stadium. And it's not going to be open as it is right now. And the fence, the requirement is that we need to make it higher than it is. So in areas where there were visible cracks or the engineers recommend that they're going to demolish it, they will demolish. As you saw on that part, you will see them demolishing those areas. On the other part, they have also demolished those fences, and they're going to put up a new fence. But in areas where it's considered strong enough, they will just increase the height, and everything would be at the same level at the end of the day. So these are some of the works as you might have already seen. And of course, the scoreboard, we're going to have an electronic or LCD scoreboard, like they call it, which is going to give you real-time events as they happen while the match is on, with the coordination of the TV center or the cameras centers over there. What's it called? The media?
The media center.
Okay, so with the coordination of the media center, so whatever is happening at the stadium can reflect on the scoreboard. So these are generally some of the works that we task ourselves to do. And delayed as it might be, we all know what the problem was. It was an issue of funding, but eventually we were able to get the funds, and now we have started the work, and we look forward to its successful completion and for us to hold our matches. So that's the general introduction. If you have any questions, you're free to ask.
Yes, Honorable Minister, Mamadou Gadget, QTV. This time around, will it be at any stage where the Confederation of African Football will be involved as the work is progressing in order to avoid kind of a third phase? You said you've completed already, and then they look at it, they say, oh no, you need to adjust here. Will it be at some point saying something like that? Like while the work is progressing, they come and look at it, and if they are satisfied with certain things, and if there are going to be any adjustments.
No, the CAF is involved from the beginning, and I think that's the. Of course, there will be a third phase. Let me say that there will be a third phase because, again, one thing like Mr. Fai said earlier, the stadium was built in the 80s, in 1981, coming to 84 when it was opened, and from that time to now is 40 years. A lot has changed in football that we all know. So the fact that the stadium has not undergone any major renovation, it requires a lot of changes. But these are expensive capital projects that government cannot fund at the beginning from the beginning to all the way. So what we did is to put them in phases. So there will be a third phase because right now we are not doing the floodlights, but we can go on matches without the floodlights because you can play during the day. You don't have to need. You don't need the floodlights. The tax also is in the third phase, including the secondary field, which is the training ground that is supposed to be at the other side. All of those things are not coming under this phase. So those will be what is considered third phase. But to answer the CAF issue, CAF is part of this process. From their visit last year, they got involved. In fact, they got involved from the beginning because when we started the job, we shared our information with them. And that was why they came on the ground to see what was happening and guided us to say, include this and this. Now, when we did the entire job, we put them in second and third phase. When we sent it to CAF, there was an advice. There were some things that they've lifted from the third phase and said, no, put it in the second phase. Example, the fence that we are talking about. Our intention was to put it in the third phase because it's very expensive to put a metal fence around the entire stadium. But CAF recommended that no, we cannot put it in the third phase. You need to bring it to the second phase because that will be part of the security features that we're looking at when they come. So they've been advising, and like I said, the document was sent to them. They reviewed it and they sent us back their comments, and we incorporated their comments, and that's what we do. So we believe that there would not be any reason for further recommendations as per our agreement based on what is the minimum needed standards for us to play here.
And what we have done is to open a WhatsApp page whereby we included Mohammed Sidat, who was here, who did the inspection, so that he can advise us stage by stage as we go on with the second phase. So they are fully involved in it.
As a follow-up, come in 4 months' time, we'll be playing here if there is a match that is settled for the stadium.
Inshallah. That's I don't see any reason why we cannot play here after those periods. Like I said, it's intensive, but yes, we should be able to play here after all of those things. I mean, because it's two aspects. It's what we're doing and what CAF wants, as per their stadium regulation of 2022. And if they say do this, do that, if we do that, then we should be able to pass.
Yeah. Still coming again, when it comes to monetary terms, how much money are we talking about funding the stadium from the beginning of that first phase, now we're into the second phase? And let's say completion, even if it is projection, because the public would want to know.
Yeah, we spent, like we said earlier on, the initial budget was about 160 million. We spent about 130 million. Now the second phase is 153 million. So if you add 153 plus 130 million, it gives you what? 280 million. Yeah, so 280 million some hundreds is what the anticipated first and second phase is going to be.
But that's cheap compared to the third phase. Yeah. That's very cheap compared to the third phase.
Yeah, again, just to say, some of these things are based on, yes, in fact, the third phase is even more expensive, which includes the tax, the floodlights, and the secondary phase out there. But the Ministry of Works, which unfortunately they're not here, are the ones that are essentially running the projects because they are the government body responsible for works, and they are the ones that do the assessments, and they are the ones that work with the contractors to do most of the costing and everything. And then, for us, it's more of receiving the document from the ministry to say, this is how much you need. And then we go to finance to look for the funding. And that's the process that has happened. But currently, the work is being supervised and managed by the Ministry of Works with the support of a technical committee.
So, right? With the issue of the floodlights, not long ago, the floodlights were changed to at least a playable level, and night matches are played. Are they not good enough, or they needed a new aspect
Well,
of the floodlights?
well, I don't think it meets CAF standard. That's why we never played night matches. For local league, yes, but for international matches, you need at least 1,200 locks, and they are not 1,200 locks. So it needs to be changed, and these floodlights are too expensive. You know, technology has moved, and we need some like more energy-saving lights.
But the same lights that have been there for 84, right?
No, it was changed. I think in no more than 5 before I came to the stadium. That was over 10 to 12 years ago. Yes.
All right. Okay. Yes.
If I have you very well, and you said the media freedom of the awards house 50 journalists. I stand to be corrected. Can you say that?
Yes, based on the seating numbers, the seat capacity.
I think that is way too small. Way too small. I think that is small. In fact, it is small. You know, if you look at the media, our media, the media is growing. You know, we come to work our league matches, even Northern matches. We have more than 100 journalists covering a league match, especially if the Scorpions are playing.
Yeah.
Let's say we have Premier Senegal playing here. The Senegalese media has to come. We're talking of 200 or even more than that. So don't you think it would be ideal to factor that before you come and have come and tell me that this number is small? But 50 is definitely small.
Well, yes. I mean, I agree with you with the interest in sports. 50, but 50 we really is like the minimum, right? I don't know. It could be more than that, but what we are working on is 50. Now, if you look at the stadium overall capacity, it has also reduced significantly. We were talking about a capacity of 25,000. With the individual seats installed in both the VIP and in the general stands, this capacity has dropped by almost 10,000 less. So we're looking at about 15,000 people that are going to be on the stadium, which is a small number compared to the population size. So for that reason, I mean, the journalists will also need to have a smaller capacity because of the fact that the general stadium stands have reduced from what we used to know it to almost half the number. So that's the only reason. But yes, I understand that the numbers are minimal. It will be now probably up to the media now to choose who would be sitting there, because it's only those who probably will be writing stories that would be sitting there. You know, the cameras would be in a normal place, in a different place, I guess, and they normally don't sit. So this is only for those that are going to sit. So essentially, if you have print reporters, one person sitting there, plus the TV, maybe the reporter only, and the cameraman is seated somewhere, it comes back to the same number. But I understand your point, but like I said, we are also limited with capacity, and that's why we are only putting it at 50. But all of this is, again, done with CAF based on the recommendation.
We are the stadium manager, and we have been traveling with the Scorpions. You know the point that I'm talking about. What do you think about that?
Yeah, everything depends on the capacity. You know the capacity of the stadium. You know the capacity of the stadium has reduced. Before this rehabilitation, it was open. Then we have to use part of the democracy area, the area we call democracy, to create a media tribune. And we can only create what is available there. And if the capacity is 50, the media have to adjust to that and see how it works. As he said, it's only those who are writing reports that are going to be there. But the cameraman and others will not be there. The commentators will have their own place where they can comment matches. So it will come back to that. So, but everybody have to adjust. You know, if the population is adjusting to the capacity of the stadium, the media also have to adjust to the capacity of what is provided for them.
You don't?
Any other question?
Honorable,
Yes.
in what ways do you anticipate that the ongoing renovation of the independent stadium will attract more international sports events and competitions to the Gambia, thereby boosting the country's reputation in the global sport?
Well, no, it's the renovation alone is a good thing because we all know we were all part of the 32 countries that were banned by Africa from hosting local matches. So And some have worked on getting out of that zone. Gambia and some countries still remain in that list of countries that cannot host. So the fact that we're able to complete the job successfully and get out of that situation where we have to play our matches outside the country, that alone for me is a great thing for our sports, especially for our football. But secondly, we know that when we're hosting matches here, we save cost. Because right now, anytime we play outside, we tend to spend more in terms of all the arrangements, hotels, because a hotel in the Gambia is way cheaper than for even a 5-star. It's cheaper than a 5-star hotel in Morocco, for instance, or a 5-star hotel in another country. The cost of hiring a boss when we host international matches outside, the Gambia is still responsible to take care of the other team in the way that we will take care of them when they come here. We hire bosses for our teams and our team delegates, and hire bosses for that team and team delegate. Hiring a coach a boss in a foreign country is expensive. So these are all things that we are losing revenue to other countries in addition to spending more money. So when we play here, all of those revenues will now come back here. It contributes towards the economy. We use our own hotels to host our Gambian team and our visiting team, and we hire our own bosses. Our securities are engaged. There is a lot of sales around the stadium. When the activity is happening, taxi drivers make money. So the economy grows when you host matches. But again, we will be collecting tickets, and that is revenue for the stadium in order to be able to use those revenues to now do additional works that are needed by CAF. So there are a lot more benefits to playing home than to playing outside. But again, it's about pride. It is not desirable for us to be playing outside our matches. We want to be able to play home. And like I always say, if there's anyone that wants it, it's those that are responsible. But the conditions prevented us from doing that, and we'll be proud to say that we are able to complete the job and back home. And again, who knows? We will probably be able to host some of these little competitions here and there in the country rather than traveling outside to play all the time.
Any other question?
All right. Okay.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, those who didn't come early. I know it's our fault. It's not your fault. But you have the opportunity to go around if you want to take all the jobs that are happening. And if you want, maybe talk to your colleagues to share the materials with you. I'm sure they will be willing to do that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.